Welcome, everyone. My name's Rebecca Fisher. I hate to interrupt all these lovely conversations I hear happening. And on behalf of First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware, I welcome you to our hybrid worship service, whether you're here in the sanctuary, watching the live stream, or watching it sometime in the future. I always say, I don't want to leave anyone out. I always like to say, come as you are this morning. Feel free to arrive here as your whole self, with all your identities, your ideas, your thoughts, your emotions, your love, the good and the bad. Do not leave your cares at the door. Bring them on with you. To be a Unitarian Universalist means valuing and encouraging the individual search for truth and meaning, while working in community to build a more compassionate, just world for all. If you want to learn more about what's happening at First Unitarian, please do visit our website, firstuuwilm.org, and sign up for our e-news, and you'll get a weekly email. We won't inundate you with emails, just a weekly email about the stuff that's happening at the church. So one program this August coming up I would like to highlight is our summer camp for adults. On August 13th through the 15th, you can join us for a variety of events that include art, education, self-exploration, music, meditation, and more. And I forgot to mention that we will feed you. So you got to sign up to get your dinner. So if you go to our website, you can check out all the events, and please register by tomorrow, August 7th. You can pick up a brochure at the back of the sanctuary if you're here today. It's right next to our beautiful church donations basket. Isn't that nice? We have family-friendly events, too. It's free, And as I said, dinners are catered, so don't miss all the fun. So to kick off our service, take a second and think what it would mean to find a place where your sorrows are given as much due consideration as your joys. Would that help you bear the sorrow?
Do not leave your cares at the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Bring your pain and sorrow and joy. There's a place for them upon the altar of life. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. This is a place of grace, of losing and finding a way upon the winding road, meeting and parting, stumbling and starting over. At the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Amen. Amen.
I knew I'd do that. Babes come into this world totally defenseless. They depend on others for everything, including guidance for what is right and what is wrong. Why? Because we come into this world without an instruction book. And for many years, we depend on others to provide a path through our lives, a path which becomes wider as we age. Nonetheless, it is a path with edges. I call those edges the don'ts, as in, no, don't do that. If we're lucky, we have parents who love us, who are prepared to guide us down that path, who tell and show us those don't edges, and do it over and over until it becomes part of who we are. As we age, we begin interacting with other people and we learn more and more about those edges. And many times, we learn about those edges the hard way because we cross over them. Also, as we age, we're exposed to a variety of other learning tools, schools, and clubs and organizations. And one of those respective organizations is the Boy Scouts of America. Its teachings teach us, remind us, all of us, how to stay away from the don'ts and remain on the path of righteousness.
If you have a chalice at home, I know you already set it up and have the matches ready because you're on top of things. But please join me in lighting it as we read these words adapted from Tara Humphreys. Whether you were born into this faith, found it, or it found you, whether you feel at home or are still trying to find your place, whether you believe in God, are open to mystery, or don't believe in God, no matter what people call it. Whether you are unemployed, underemployed, cobbling things together, overworking, retired, or in school. Whether you are holding anxiety, grief, confusion, anger, hope, restlessness, or deep peace, Unitarian Universalism has a place for you. It is right here. And this chalice is lit for you. Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 1010. That's in the Teal book. We give thanks. The words will be on the screen. And please remain standing after the singing to recite our unison affirmation. Please join me in affirming our mission. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes mind and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
Boy Scouts welcome the abled and the disabled. They welcome boys from every walk of life. And speaking of the disabled, I had a personal experience that I'd like to share with you. It's worth the tell. I was the junior counselor at a Boy Scout camp in New Hampshire called Camp Sachem. I was perhaps 15 or 16 years old. And throughout the summer session, individual scouts and sometimes whole troops came in to stay for 2-week sessions. On one such 2-week session, a troop arrived from the famous Perkins School for the Blind in Watertown, Massachusetts. I don't recall why the issue ever arose. The contemplation, after all, was ridiculous. But it happened. Those blind boys were asked if any of them would be interested in climbing a mountain. I expected that no hands would go up. After all, who wants to climb a mountain when there's nothing to see? Boy, was I ever wrong. Every hand shot up. And the following day, following a short bus ride, I brought the rear end of this troop up Mount Monadnock, the highest mountain located between the White Mountains of New Hampshire and Massachusetts Berkshires. Every single one of those boys went to the top. Those guys taught me a lesson. Recognizing and respecting differences in others, and treating everyone like you want them to treat you will help make this world a better place for everyone. For this morning's meditation, I'd like to read a poem written by Emily Pearl Kingsley. Mrs. Kingsley is considered to be the founder of Sesame Street, and she is the mother of a boy with Down syndrome. Her poem is entitled, Like Me. I went to my dad and I said to him, "There's a new kid who's come to my school. He's different from me, and he's not too cool. No, he's nothing like me. Like me? No, he's nothing at all like me. He runs in a funnyish, jerky-ish way, and he never comes first in a race. Sometimes he forgets which way is first base. No, he's nothing at all like me. Like me? No, he's nothing at all like me. He studies all day in a separate class, and they say that it's called special ed. And sometimes I don't understand what he said. And he's nothing at all like me. Like me? No, he's nothing at all like me. His face looks kind of different from mine, and his talking is sometimes slow. And he makes me feel funny. And there's one thing I know, that he's not at all like me. Like me? No, he's nothing at all like me. And my father said, "Son, I want you to think, when we meet someone different and new, that he may seem a little bit strange, it's true, but he's not very different from you. From you? No, he's not very different from you." Well, I guess I admitted I've looked at his face. When he's left out of games, he feels bad. And when other kids tease him, I can see he's so sad. I guess that's not so different from me. From me? No, that's not very different from me. And when we're in music, he sure loves to sing. And he sings like me, right out loud. When he gets his report card, I can tell he feels proud, and that's not very different from me. From me? No, that's not very different from me. And he's always so friendly, and he says hi, and he waves and he calls out my name, and he'd like to be friends and get into a game, which is not very different from me. From me? No, I guess that's not very different from me. And his folks really love him. I saw them at school, and I remember an open school night. They were smiling and proud, and they hugged him real tight. And that's not very different from me. From me? No, that's not very different from me. And so I said to my dad, "Hey, you know that new kid? Well, I've really been thinking a lot. Some things are different, and some things are not. But mostly, he's really like me. Like me. Yes, my new friends. A lot. He's a lot like me."
That was so beautiful. Thank you. Before we get into the stewardship moment and the sermon, I would like to introduce this gentleman up here who's sharing the, what do we call this? Podium with me. Ed has been a UU for more than 50 years, but he's only been a member here for 5. And at age 11, he entered scouting and stayed with the program until his late teens, completing his service as a camp counselor and assistant scoutmaster. Ed was educated at Northeastern University in Boston with a degree in chemistry. Ed has been a chemist, a soldier, a financial planner, and a self-employed wealth manager. And he says that after 30 years managing people's money, he's finally getting good at it. He has lectured on a wide variety of topics involving estate planning and money management. And he's sharing his thoughts with us today. We're very grateful for that. Now, while I was preparing my remarks for this service, I came across some words by the Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein that rang very true to me, so I thought it was worth sharing them. Dr. Weinstein writes, "Every week in our church, we take up an offering. It's good to remind ourselves from time to time that the offering is symbolic as well as practical. We know that it is through pledges that we build our budget and fund our yearly programs and ministries of worship and religious education, pay our staff and professional religious leaders, finance the comfort and beauty of our buildings, and we know that we could easily submit those pledge checks to the church at any convenient time, and we do so. But we set aside a time during our worship service to make a community expression of thanks for the blessing of abundance, to visibly bring in the harvest at this most cherished hour of the week. Our offering says that the act of giving is as essential to our spiritual well-being as anything else we do here on Sunday mornings. For those of you joining us online, you'll see 4 ways to contribute displayed on the screen. And for those of you joining us in the sanctuary, there's a basket at the back helpfully labeled church donations, where you can place your offering. So please join me in dedicating our offering to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
So my family and I recently went on a trip with some friends to Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Tetons out in Wyoming and the West. And when I came back, I was inspired to write this song. So this is When the River Calls. the river calls, we answer, just a whisper to its roar. When the swaying pines invite us, their majesty shows even more. We take on wild memories, but leave no trace of where we've been. We reclaim our sense of wonder and are forever changed within. When the river calls, we answer, just a whisper to its roar. When the swaying pines invite us, her majesty shows even more. We take on wild memories, leave no trace of where we've been. We reclaim our sense of wonder and are forever changed within.
To become a scout, one had to memorize and recite the Scout's motto, be prepared, the Scout oath, and the Scout law. And if any of you former Scouts who are here in the congregation would like to join me, please feel free to do so as I state the Scout's oath. On my honor, I will do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. There's a huge amount of wisdom in those 36 words for everyone. As a Scout, I said them many, many times. Frankly, I did not give a lot of thought to the wisdom presented therein, but it's time I did. The oath begins, on my honor. Just what is honor? It is carrying out, acting, and living the values of respect, duty, loyalty, selfishness, service, integrity, and personal courage in everything one does. To have honor means having or showing a strict regard for what is morally right. To have honor is to be respected. Think of the highest military award that can be bestowed upon a hero, and it's called the Medal of Honor. On my honor, I will do my best. Doing one's best is synonymous with living out each and every moment to its fullest potential. And this potential exists in every situation you encounter in life. All it's required is not to fight whatever life throws your way. Doing your best is not about meeting expectations or achievements. It isn't about success or failure. It's about putting all of your energy into whatever life situation you are currently experiencing. During an interview with Thomas Edison, a reporter cynically asked a question which was obviously aimed at embarrassing him and embarrassing his thousands of failures as he attempted to find a filament to bring alive the electric bulb. In response, Edison said, "I will not say I failed 1,000 times. I will say that I learned 1,000 ways that will not work." That's what failure meant to this great inventor. To do my duty to God means for Unitarian Universalists to live one's life in accordance with the values and moral guidance provided by our 7 principles and 6 sources. To do my duty to God and my country means to fight for our national virtues and to fight against those who would destroy them. Now, fighting does not necessarily mean physical. That's always a terrible way to fight. But unfortunately, all too often, a necessary way. But fighting also means being engaged in how this country works and doing what you can to keep it working in a way you deem proper. In other words, doing what you can against those who would destroy it. Other than the many wars that have been fought protecting our democracy, I cannot think of a better time than now to do one's duty to God and one's country, because our democracy is under attack once again. But this time, it's coming from inside our country. Heed the words of James Madison. The essence of government is power, and power, lodged as it must be in human hands, will ever be liable to abuse. And to obey the Scout law, that law says to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. That's a powerful law. These are the characteristics of a kind and thoughtful person. That law says to everyone who respects it, here's what you must be and do to be a good person. To help other people at all times. There are so many ways this can be done. It includes the little things and the big things, such as contributing your energy and possibly your wealth to this institution and to the hundreds of other institutions that help people. God only knows there is so much need in this world. In our country, one of the richest in the world, the National Geographic Society tells us that 1 in 6 people does not have enough to eat. There is great need in this country. To keep myself physically strong. This is so important for everyone, and especially for seniors. If seniors do nothing else but walk, it's a huge step in maintaining physical health. Being mentally awake, to me, means being aware of one's surroundings, of feelings for others, aware of what's going on in the news. In other words, paying attention to the world. And finally, morally straight. This means living your life with honesty, to be clean in your speech and actions, to be a person of strong character. In a crowded ballroom in one of Los Angeles' fanciest hotels, Jimmy Stewart gave a speech about the Scout's oath, about being morally straight. He said, quote, "Without these 2 words, none of the other 38 mean much. All of the good talk in the world won't help if you don't keep yourself morally straight. You can make your whole life worthless unless you grab onto those 2 words and live by them. Live in them every hour of every day of your lifetime." End quote. The Scouts also have a motto, be prepared. These are the only words on the Eagle Scout medal. Be prepared. In the year 1910, the first Boy Scout manual was published. Lieutenant General Biden Smith, the gentleman who started the Boy Scout movement in England, wrote, "Being prepared means you are always in a state of readiness in mind and body to do your duty." And they did in spades in both World War I and World War II. Both the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts provided a multitude of functions. In England, they assisted coastal watches. In World War II, they supplemented a waning food supply by growing fruits and vegetables in victory gardens. We had one, and I'll bet you did too. General Douglas MacArthur said, "Every squash or tomato that you grow was one that didn't have to come away from the soldiers at the front." Both General MacArthur and Eisenhower, for the Scouts' contribution to the war effort, lent their names and their likenesses to Boy Scout medals. Winston Churchill wrote a piece that was published in the Scouting magazine in 1955. He said, quote, "In the air raids, we saw the spectacle of children, 12 and 14, performing with perfect coolness and composure the useful function assigned to them in the streets and public offices." End quote. The Scout slogan is, "Do a good deed daily." That's a goal worthy of everyone. Providing a helping hand, even in the smallest way, is what humanity is all about. Doing a good deed helps to focus your thoughts outward towards others. It helps you take a step outside your own world for a little while. Performing good deeds can have a positive effect on your own health, like reducing stress. The Boy Scouts of America have not been immune from scandal, it's true. A few bad apples can and have put a dent in spoiling the bunch, but the Scouts have survived and still thrive. I had the honor of being the keynote speaker at the Glen Mills, Pennsylvania Veterans Memorial last year. And who was among those in attendance? The leaders and boys of the local Boy Scout troop. They were there just as tens of thousands of Boy Scouts are and have been at memorial services throughout our country for many, many years. I also attended a Veterans Day breakfast on Veterans Day last year. And who were the servers? The Boy Scouts from a local troop doing their good deeds. Doing a good deed daily remains a mantra worthy of the best of every boy, every girl, every adult, everywhere, and always. The many skills taught in scouting build good adults, build good character, build honor, and build good citizens. Building, like learning, never has an end. And building for others is the essence of scouting. I end this morning with a poem written by Will Allen. Dromgoole is the best I can do. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed it in a twilight dim. That sullen stream had no fear for him. But he turned when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. "Old man," said a fellow pilgrim near, "you are wasting strength by building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You will never again pass this way. You have crossed this chasm deep and wide. Why build you the bridge at the eventide?" The builder lifted his old gray head. "Good friend, in the path I have come," he said, "there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm has been not for me. To that fair-headed youth a pitfall be? He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building the bridge for him. Under the heading of sorrows and joys, let's now shift our thinking into a practice of joy by bringing to mind someone who we really believe has our best interests in their heart, someone who has extended kindness and support to you. This could be someone you know now or someone in the past, a friend, a family member, a teacher, a colleague. Choose just one person and bring them to mind as though they were seated right in front of you, smiling at you. Imagine them truly wishing for you to be happy, fulfilled, for you to have a life that is flourishing. Imagine them beaming this towards you in their smile, in their eyes. And with your next breath, inhale and draw in that intention of goodness. In meditation and visualization practices, we have the opportunity to generate a positive emotional state where this person really is next to us. Simply through our mind and imagination. It's as though we can call upon this valuable resource right here, right now. So for a couple of breaths, really take in this wish of happiness, joy from this person who cherishes you. As we listen to the musical interlude, let's close our eyes and bring this practice to a close with 3 long inhales and 3 long exhales.
If you have lit a chalice at home, we're going to extinguish ours now. The flame is extinguished, but not our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share for all the world.
Following the benediction, we're going to repeat the welcome song, and we invite you to join us. Hear now the words which I've adapted from the words of Reverend Cynthia Landrum. As we leave this service, we do not leave our connections to each other. We do not leave our caring for one another. And we do not leave our caring for this world. Heaven only knows how much caring it needs. Until we meet again, be strong, be well, be true, and be loving. Amen.
Do not leave your cares at the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Bring your pain and sorrow and joy. There's a place for them upon the altar of life. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. This is a place of grace, of losing and finding your way upon the winding road, meeting and parting, stumbling and starting over. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Amen. Amen. Amen.